What if I told you I had proof of 40% gains in gold and silver and the data to back it up? Hello, everyone. It's Rick Fronek from Work Smart If you're in Silver Gold Solutions. And in today's Gold and Silver Stacking Saturdays, we're going to be covering what's driving the markets, what's causing these increases in gold and silver. We're also going to be going from the gold and silver ratio to also the impact of the silver squeeze globally, and also in different countries like India and China, how this is impacting the global markets, and also an urgent warning from Bill Holter for those who are saving in the form of precious metals, i.e., specifically gold and silver. Okay, we have a great action pack. I'm really excited to share this with everybody because this is something that I put together a presentation on Wednesday night. And some of you that were on it were just blown away by what I was showing everybody as far as the gains over and as of Wednesday night, it wasn't even quite 30 days that the gains in gold and silver were astronomical over the last 30 days. But what I'm going to share with you today is proof of that. And then also, the silver squeeze it's a global thing right now. And what's part of what's driving that is everybody's actually asking for physical delivery of gold and silver. And right now with silver specifically, that's the one that's everybody's seen a huge increase in the markets over the last couple of weeks here with silver. And a lot of that is because of the different countries and also powers that be that are actually taking physical deliveries instead of just, trading it for actual paper money. Okay, so this is something that I want to be sharing this with everybody. And then also I wanted to share with everybody information on a Sound Money wallet and what you can do today to actually start taking action and saving in the form of precious metals, regardless of your income. It's something that I believe that everybody should have some form of precious metals in their possession. And it's something it's just gonna, like what I'm sharing with you here today, it'll actually kind of back up everything that I'm saying so far. But what I wanted to do is, because I am going to be talking about this company, 7K Metals. They are available in over 63 countries across the globe. And there is an income disclosure. Here's the countries listed here. And I'll actually have a link for you to check out all this information below as well. But there is an income disclosure because with 7K, there is the opportunity to where you could earn passively in the process by sharing the opportunity with others. So I did want to get this out of the way, and I will have a link for that income disclosure below as well. So I want to share with everybody, this is something, if you go back to my video on September 20th, towards the end of the video, and I shared a screenshot of what it looks like at 7K, it's called a wealth builder. Okay. And this is one of the accounts that I've used to just create short videos and share I've done videos in the past where I bought like $8 worth of gold I think it was, yeah, I bought $8 of gold at midnight. And another time I bought like $12. I did different examples just to show how, regardless of what you have to save in silver and gold, you can do it in like with 7K, you can do it as a dollar at a time if you would like. But in this case here, when I was getting ready for my presentation Wednesday, I was looking through my old files and I came across this and I'm like, okay, September 20th, I had a total of $253.67 in assets between the silver eagles, gold eagles, and gold bars. So you can see here that you don't have to physically purchase a full gold eagle or a full gold bar. This is something where you can do a couple dollars at a time if you want. Okay, so when I was doing my presentation on the 15th, the total assets was 347.39. So that was from September 20th to October 15th. And as effective today, right before I started this live call, I did a screenshot of what it's showing as the total assets. So this is when you go from 253.67 on September the 20th to October 18th, you're at 40% gains. Okay, so this is something now. This is, like I said, this is a small account where I was just doing test examples as far as doing smaller incremental amounts. But it shows you that in this short period of time, that's how much between these three are, well, the silver eagles and the gold eagles and the gold bars. This is how much gains have come across in less than 30 days. Okay, so it's pretty eye-opening. When I shared with people the other night, they were blown away by it too. It's something that it really, when you put it in perspective, when you see here you have the physical or the specifics of how it goes from one thing to another. And you can you can look at the charts all you want, and it's going to show you we're seeing everything going up. And it's something where, like, this is not going to be guaranteed over the next 30 days. It's going to go up another 40%, but it shows you that in that short period of time, what gold and silver have done. So this is something that when you talk to your financial advisor, or you're doing your research or doing your stuff on your own. Make sure if they're not mentioning gold and silver, I just don't know what to say because they're not looking out for your best interest. So I would, make sure that, if you do have a financial advisor, see what their thoughts are. But if they're swaying you away from gold and silver, then I would probably search for somebody else to handle your financials. But I did do a video 2 weeks ago about how I did have a clip where they were talking about how now instead of it being like typically old school was recommending 8%, maybe 10% tops of precious metals in your portfolio. But now even people like JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs, they're all saying like they're recommending 20% or even more. I did read an article earlier today that said actually 40%. So I'm not sure, I think right now what's happening is the fear of missing out is actually happening where there's a lot of people, a lot of countries that they're buying the gold and silver because of, everything that's happening right now with the prices surging. So the more countries and people buy gold and silver, it's going to drive the market even higher. Okay, so that's something to kind of keep in mind. But I did want to show everybody this because it is physical proof that, and these are numbers I cannot adjust this. I cannot fudge these numbers in any way, shape, or form. It's based on the incremental amounts that I had put into the account going back to the last uh, edition I did it as I think on one of my live calls back in August. I did a $10 purchase of US Silver Eagles, and that was the last amount that I put into this account. So I did want to share that with everybody. So I want to break down the gold silver ratio because this is important. It's something that if you're new to precious metals, it's something to keep in mind and something to keep an eye on as well. And you can do this on your own as well. I'll show you here how to do it. Right now, gold's at 42.55.90 an ounce and silver's at 52.23 an ounce. So what it means is that it would take 81.48 ounces of silver to equal 1 ounce of gold. And this is, as of close of business yesterday. And so I had done this on my last call, which was October 4th, and the gold silver ratio was 80.91. So it's actually kind of what's typically happens is if there's a 40 to 60 range, or 60 to 40 range where, anywhere from 60 ounces of silver or 40 ounces of silver equals 1 ounce of gold. And right now, with it being so elevated in the 80s, that means it's a good time to consider silver. Whereas if you're don't necessarily have to purchase gold. I mean, by all means, if you are able to, I'm not going to sway you from doing that. I'm just saying that, you're going to see typically larger gains in silver as it tries to catch up to that ratio because historically it has always fallen into that 40 to 60 range. Okay. And so this is actually an article I've shared several times. It goes back to March of 2024. It's from moneymetals.com. And it says, here's what usually happens with silver. It does move with gold, but it moves later. Gold will shoot up first, and then you will see silver take off rapidly. And silver always outperforms. It's just late. Okay, so this is something in this here example here, back in March of 2024, it was an 86-to-1 ratio. Okay, so here we are, fast forward a year and a half later, and we're still in that 80s range. So there's still, even though gold's taken off and silver's really taken off this year, it's still trying to play catch up. Okay, so kind of keep that in mind. And usually this is what I do every week is I do a breakdown of this is my pre-launch of the gold and silver stacking Saturdays. Gold was at 33.69 and silver was at 36. So fast forward to today, and we're at 42.55. So we're almost up $1,000. We're close to $1,000 an ounce. And from the end of, third week of June to the third week of October, in silver here, we're up, $16 an ounce in that same time frame. Okay, so this is kind of something to kind of keep in mind. All right, and I like sharing this because it's really eye-opening when you go from month to month and you see the differences in gold and silver. Okay, so what I want to do here is this is something that I did share the last time on my last call, the driving factors for precious metals in 2025. So this was going back to 2 weeks ago when I had this article here, and it was part of a YouTube video. Silver was up 53%, gold was up 45%, platinum was at 50, and palladium was at 39. And the typical driving factors right now are global trade conflicts and geopolitical instability. And with the economic uncertainty, across the globe. It's not just here in the United States, it's across the globe. And then there's the central bank policies. They're still trying to get away from the US dollar. And this all goes back to what I have shared previously with the sanctions that the United States put on Russia for the Russian-Ukraine war. That was the domino that started tipping all this. If those sanctions were not put on Russia back in 2022, we wouldn't be talking about gold and silver at this price right now. It's just kind of it started the like I said the dominoes tipping over, and it continues. So here we are 3 years later, and we're still feeling the impacts of that, and we're going to feel that for a long time moving forward. But then also the Federal Reserve rate cut, and it's kind of like the continued weakening of the US dollar. Okay, so it's something that all these factors are what's driving the markets, and it's something that for a beginner or somebody just looking into the markets, this is something that it's kind of a lot to digest, but there's all these different factors that go into what is happening with the markets. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to share this first before I talk. I do have some information about India and then China. Uh, but this is a video that Bill Holter, he's a precious metals broker, okay, and he's on a call with Danny from Capital Cosm, and so this is on a YouTube, and I'll have the link below the video too if you want to watch the whole thing. It's very interesting what he has to share, but he's giving things kind of in a nutshell approach, kind of what I'm trying to do here. So I'm going to share a couple clips from this, like I said, mind you, this is all live, so it's not going to be edited afterwards. Okay. Okay. All right. So even if you watch the beginning of the video, it's going to give you a nice overview of what he talks about throughout the video. But I'm going to share a couple of clips right here where they're going to start off talking about silver.
Silver, that's where the financial system very well could end, is with silver. There's obviously huge tightness all over the world in silver. India has doubled the amount of ounces. Forget about dollars or rupees, they've doubled the amount of ounces they're importing. The bullion dealers in China have basically closed down and they're not selling silver. The one bullion dealer that is selling silver is selling it at $128 an ounce. Silver's going into backwardation where the futures or world cash is higher than the futures. The lease rates have exploded. It's it's primed and set up for failure to deliver. And I can't stress enough how important it is for silver not to fail to deliver, because if it does, it will immediately spill over to gold. And you get action in gold like we're seeing in silver, that's the end of the system. And I say the end of the system because confidence will entirely break. And the fractional reserve slash fiat system runs 100% on confidence. And if you break confidence, and it goes back to what my late partner Jim Sinclair used to say: what is the value of a contract that cannot perform? And the answer is zero. And he posited that you could see gold futures at $10 offered, no bids, and $50,000 bid and no offers. Meaning people will not accept contracts because they know they're not going to perform. They want the real deal in their hands.
So that was important because that's, what he's stressing, and he keeps talking about, or when I've been following Bill, and Danny's had a couple of different guests on talking about the same thing, is when there's these, whether it's different countries or, wealthier individuals that, are usually using, with the ETFs and everything with gold and silver, most of the time people, they buy and sell without actually, they're just doing it for the dollar, to, the amount of money they can make just by buying and selling and short and different things. Okay. So in this case here, what the problem is that more countries and more individuals, like I said earlier, are actually asking for delivery. They're not just wanting to, buy and sell and trade in ETFs. They're actually wanting the physical metal in their hand. Okay. So I wanted to share this other clip here from him, and this is pretty interesting too. Let's see. There we go.
Is the possibility that they just close the markets down, then there's no set price on your silver, or the last set price is the only price.
Um,
He's talking about if the markets crash or if they break the markets because if there's not enough people if they cannot supply the silver and gold to these entities that are wanting to buy it, they're talking about the market crashing and closing.
I think that's not really the right way to look at it. It shouldn't be concerning if you're sitting on silver and markets close. I can't think of another asset that I want to have in my hands other than a loaded gun and food. I cannot think of any monetary asset that I would want in my hands other than silver if markets close. And I'm not dissing gold. Gold is for, that's your store of wealth, but you're not going to trade in gold. I mean, you're going to have a hard time with silver eagles or 1 ounce bars, 1 ounce rounds, silver rounds. You're going to have a problem getting change with it. I mean, if you deal with a farmer, let's say you want 2 dozen eggs, how are you can't get change back, but a silver dime will do it.
So why is
I want to
Okay.
talk about that.
go ahead.
Let me just mention this, because I've got a bunch of emails in the last 3 or 4 days. Um, the wholesalers have really pulled their bids back on junk silver. Junk silver now, if you're going to sell it, you're looking at $2.50 or $3 below spot. The only silver above spot in North America are silver eagles. They get they're about like $1 over spot. But people are concerned that
Okay, I wanted to share that because that's important. All right, so like in this case here, even with what I was showing with the wealth builder, that's saving in, whether you do $10 at a time or you just do one silver eagle at a time, however you do it. But he's saying that, in the event of any type of overall market collapse, okay, where people are actually using physical silver or gold or whatever, what have you, to make purchases or, buy something, with gold, if you have 1 ounce of gold and you're going to, if you get 2 dozen eggs or whatever, how are you going to get change? Okay, so this is what when he was making that reference to the 1 ounce silver eagle, he also said, when he referenced like the dime silver. Okay, so there are different fractional amounts of silver. So you have the half, the quarter, you have the tenth, the quarter, the half, and the 1 ounce. So in addition to 1 ounce American silver eagles, which he did point out there, I wanted to share that bit about the clip about junk silver not. It's not getting as bigger dollar amount as the American silver eagle. The silver eagles, if you went to sell one, you get probably over $1 over a spot price. Whereas the junk silver, that's stuff from 1964 before the dimes and quarters before that, it's not getting as much. He was saying $2 to $3 below spot. Okay, so, but what he also is making reference to there is the fact that if you are saving in physical silver, which is a good thing because people are going to be easier to be able to transact with, denominations of silver to, also go for the smaller, coins as well. Okay. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind, but I thought that was pretty interesting. Whoops. Okay. So I will have the link for that video below as well. Okay. Now, they had made reference to China kind of, closing the doors as far as willing to trade or sell silver. Okay. So, but the one thing that I did when I had heard different clips throughout the week about India increasing their amount of silver imports. Okay. So this was actually uh I did ask ChatGPT if for an article, but they wound up giving me just kind of like a breakdown of what they're showing. Now, they did have like sub articles attached to here. That's why you see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, where they're referencing where they got that information from. But what I did is I just captured the screenshot from ChatGPT just to see, to show everybody the breakdown here. But this goes back to 2022 and it kind of covers 2022 through 2025. So even in here we go back in 2022, they were a record high of 8,800 tons in 2022. Okay, 2023, import value of silver reached a high of 422 billion Indian rupees. And in 2024, India's silver inputs surged to a record 2,932 tons in just the first 2 months. Okay. So, and so far earlier this year, imports were lower, but demand increased in recent months, leading to a renewed push for imports. September 2025, India imported 410.8 tons of silver, costing $451.6 million dollars. Now, I don't have the article, but I did read an article that was talking about how, India is part of the BRICS nations. And the BRICS nations is kind of gaining more momentum and traction because of the sanctions the US put on Russia, okay? And so that's why it's going to be East versus West, so to speak, is unfortunately how it's shaping up. But in this case here, the East was looking for a way to come up with their own currency backed by gold. Okay. And India is one of the initial countries that was part of the I in the BRICS nations. However, the article that I read said that they're not 100% gung ho or 100% all in on this new currency because their fear of China taking too much control. Okay. So that's why they're still showing support for the US dollar. So I will have to, I'll look for that article again, maybe share that on next week's call. But this is kind of important. So you have China kind of like, they're not selling or importing silver, from what I understand. And then you have India importing more silver. And this kind of falls in line with the September influx, falls in line with the article that I read about them not being all on board with the BRICS nations. Okay. So I want to kind of wrap up the insight portion of this with this is an article from Kitco News. It's by Ernest Hoffman from Kitco News, and it's a strong supply and demand dynamics support further gains for gold above $4,300 an ounce. And this is a lady from JP Morgan. She says, if we look at the demand and supply dynamics, we see supportive fundamentals from the demand side. We start with the rate cut cycle continuing because they're talking about it. We just had the Fed rate cut, and they're talking about another rate cut by the end of the year, and then a weaker US dollar as our medium to long-term view. And then we also see continuous demand from central banks, from emerging market consumers, particularly within China and India. So on the demand side, we see supportive fundamentals. The supply is quite finite because of these mining supply constraints. We do not see the supply growing quite as fast, for example, or quite, I don't know, growing quite fast as, for example, the money supply or government debt, etc. So in terms of dynamics between demand and supply, this indeed suggests that gold still has a way to go. So a lot of people, even like if you look up articles or look up Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan, they're all talking about, gold continuing to increase in value, okay, before the end of the year. Okay, so we're at 45. So as far as it uh getting past 4,600, that's kind of almost a foregone conclusion here. But the one thing I want to do point out too is if you go back to the charts, and I'm not going to pull them up today, I'll pull them up next week and go over a little bit more. But if you go back to the charts and you watch where gold hit that threshold. Okay, it was in that 3,300 to 3,500, and it was kind of going back and forth, bouncing back and forth before it took off. Now, nobody knows what's going to happen with the markets, but with gold and silver, don't expect it to continuously go higher, but also be prepared for it to hit a point where it starts bouncing around again. It might be a week or two or a month or whatever, month or a couple months, but it's going to, it's good when it actually tapers off and kind of stays even for a while. It's not always good when it shoots straight up, although for investors in investing points, yeah, it's a good gain when you have a rise like we've seen over the last couple of weeks. So I'm going to put this link below. If you have not seen the Wealth Strategies presentation that I've shared before, I'll put this link below. And I'm not going to show it here tonight because it's an 8-minute video, 8 minutes and 50 seconds. I highly encourage you to watch it. And it's also going to share with you information about what I was sharing with you at the beginning here, the wealth builder through your sound money wallet. Okay. And what's kind of nice about having a sound money wallet, and 7K is the only company out there that has this, okay, is it allows you to have, save in the form of gold and silver on any budget. Now, a lot of people think that, I'll never be able to buy a 1 ounce gold coin. Well, that's not true. This gives you the opportunity to incrementally add to your account so that you can actually physically have the gold. Okay. Same with silver. Silver is, of course, they always refer to it as the poor man's gold, but even now with the price increases, with the spot being at $52, you're still going to pay $60 on up for a 1 ounce silver eagle. Okay. So depending on where you buy it from, but in this case here with the Sound Money wallet from 7K, it gives you that option to incrementally do it on your own term, on your own budget. So it's something where, you know, like, um, like I showed at the beginning with the wealth builder, with the 40% gains. If you had a savings account, like a lot of people have a regular bank savings account, you're never going to see a 40% gain in your savings account. You'll see, your 1 to 3% interest rate. Okay. So this is something that, I encourage people at least look into it. Like I said, I'll have the video below and the link for to check out 7K. So I encourage you to check it out. It's a great opportunity to save on your terms and on your budgets. Okay. And it's like I've referred to it as before in the past as a savings account in precious metals. And it'll help you give you that peace of mind that you're saving. And at the same time, it's going into an actual real physical tangible asset. And it's also helps you commit to savings. Like I've said before, it's like your personal 401k and gold and silver. And with 7K, it is secured in a secure vault by VaultMax, and they do have weekly vault audits. So it's something with what they do, everything is audited by 3 independent companies that come and do audits to make sure that they're allocating what they say people have bought. And plus, so what's really nice about it too is you can request the physical gold and silver on demand as you want. Like even if you wanted to put money into, you automatically have to go through the Sound Money wallet, but you buy it and then you have it sent to you. You can do it that way. But even if you just want to keep it there in the vault, you can do that. And then when you do want it, you just say you request a payout of gold and silver. Okay, but then also what's really nice and what's unique about it is the fact that you can convert it back to fiat currency at any time. So like that, the money that I have in there, if I wanted to convert it back to US dollars and put it into my bank account, I could do that with 2 clicks in the mouse. Go in there and say convert to US cash, and then click over into my bank account. Okay, so that's how quick it is. So now is still a good time to save in the form of silver and gold. Of course, going back a month ago, it would have been even better. Even back to the beginning of the year, it would have even been better, but we can't go back in time. So it's a nice opportunity, and we're experiencing something that's every day there's a new high, both in the gold and silver market. So, like I said, I encourage everybody to start, if check out the video. It'll take you a little bit of time. Like I said, not even 9 minutes to watch the whole thing. It gives a nice overview. And then if you do take the steps to start with 7K, if you're still like, well, I'm not sure what I'm going to do, they do make it very easy for you. Okay. They have 7 steps you go through. You just step 1, you hit there and begin. And then the instant gold pay. That's the benefit of 7K, because there is a membership fee, but the membership fee is pretty much like I tell people just to consider like the storage fee, because if you go with any other company online and you're storing in their vaults, they have a storage and handling fee that a lot of times it's monthly. The fees with 7K is a one-time fee and then you're done. Okay. So it's something that it's not where you're going to have monthly, you're going to be paying a fee just for the gold or silver to be stored. Okay. So that's something that's kind of very unique to 7K. And then also with the instant gold pay, you do get, there's 2 types of membership. There's a basic and the legacy. With the basic, you do get $20 of gold instantly into your account once you create your membership. And then with the legacy, there is $40 of instant gold pay put into your account as well. Okay. So it's like, it depends. They have 2 choices. So whichever one you go with, you automatically get some gold. So you physically own gold the minute you create your membership. Okay. And they have the walkthrough where they, how to start stacking metals on a budget. They have all this where you can take the steps to set up your Sound Money wallet, and that actually, whoops, I'm going the wrong way. And start saving in the form of gold and silver. Okay. There are limitations on the basic. If you weren't sure if this is something brand new to you and you're just starting out, you might want to go with this because it's the easiest one to start it, and that'll give you up to $1,000 worth of gold and silver into your account, and you can always upgrade. So at any time, if you're still not 100% sure, you're still going to get the $20 in gold pay. And then it's, you can just add to it as you want. And as it's just based on the amount of money that you put into it, not necessarily the value. Okay. And with the legacy, it's unlimited. It's pretty much right now they have it listed as store up to 50,000 US dollars. But I did talk to 7K and at this point, they don't charge more if you put more in than 50,000. Okay. But what's really kind of unique about it too is with the legacy customer, if you do go with that membership, if you share the opportunity of 7K with other people as well, and anytime they do a transaction in the Sound Money wallet, you would get 1% of that put into your account just as a bonus. Okay, so that's kind of an inside perk as far as between the two different ones. With the basic, you don't get the 1%, but with the legacy, you do. So I'll just share this and then we'll wrap it up. Okay. So in case you're wondering, the value of the 7K basic membership is 477, but this is everything that you get the Vault Next. See, that's for up to $1,000. It would cost you like $60 per year just for the storage. Okay. So when you take out the $20 starter deposit, the 60 for the vault, that's $80 right there. So in all reality, it's costing you like roughly about $69 in the difference. Okay. But they do have, and I highly encourage everybody to go through this, the buyer certification and the collector certification that shares with you. It's an educational videos that they share that'll help you determine what's a better fit for you and your family in your future, whether you want to go with, bullion or you want to go with collectibles, and it'll actually kind of break it down as to what's the best option depending on your short and long-term goals. And then there's also the benefits of stack and sell. So if you had collectible graded coins, you could keep track of them there, which is nice because then you can see what the market value is. And then if you also wanted to sell them, you could sell them through stack and sell. Okay. Uh, and and then the legacy membership, the value is 867 because the Vault Next storage if you had $50,000 worth of gold or silver in a storage unit, with Vault Next, it would cost $250 a year. So in all reality, the legacy membership at $599, you take out the storage fee for the gold and silver, and you're almost cutting that in half. Plus, you get the $40 for the instant gold pay, and then of course the Sound Money matching metal bonus or earn 1% for each purchase of each referral. So anybody that you would refer to 7K, anytime they would make a purchase into their Sound Money wallet, you would get 1% of that. Okay. So I'm going to close this out with kind of like an action taker bonus. I used to do this all the time. And I'm down to 5 of these. Okay, so it's a Silver and Gold Solutions coffee mug, and then also 1 ounce Indian Buffalo silver round, and then also a 1 ounce copper round because copper is another valued precious metal. It's just not is they don't talk about in the media that much because of its value per ounce it's not that high. Okay. But in this case here, it's still a valued precious metals, but that would be my gift to the first 5 people that actually create a 7K membership. I will send this to you from me personally. And it's just kind of my way of saying, congratulations, you're starting to save in the form of precious metals and you're taking action and control of your future and your family. Okay. So this is something that, I hope everybody got a good insight from this presentation. I was really excited to share it. When I was going through and I was putting together my call on Wednesday night and I saw the difference between September 20th and October 15th, I was like, holy cow, this is something I got to share with everybody because it is actually proof that that's what's happened with the gold and silver markets in the last less than 30 days. Okay. So hopefully, you've have a little bit of silver and gold on hand. And whatever fits your budget. If you can't do like a 7K membership, but you're, used to dealing with another company, by all means, continue with that company. I just want to educate people and share what options 7K has. Okay. They've been around since 2016. They are, based in Idaho Falls, Idaho. And so they are here in the United States and they actually have a location. So if you were in that city, you could walk in their front door. It's not one of these, uh, uh, online things where you don't know where they're actually at. They have a physical location, and you can also check them out through the Better Business Bureau as well. So I hope everybody got some great insight. I encourage you to, again, I will put the video link for the 7K wealth strategies below, as well as the link to get started with 7K or to find out information. Even if you just don't want to watch the video, but you want to look around their website, you can do that. I'll put that below as well. And I want to thank everybody for your time. I wish everybody a great rest of your weekend, and I look forward to seeing everybody next Saturday. And who knows, I was I've given away so much silver over the last 2 years here. I'll see what I can do as far as maybe having another giveaway, okay? But I do want to thank everybody for your time. I really appreciate it. Again, my name is Rick Fronick. I'm the CEO of Work Smarter for You and Silver and Gold Solutions here in Galena, Illinois, and I look forward to seeing everybody next week. Take care.